Hello, welcome back. Today I'm going to be making a sculpture of a sheep, very similar to the sculpture of a sheep that I did a little while ago. A couple of months ago I did sort of my typical ram's head in a rock as a sculpture of a sheep with 4 legs and a tail and a head. But today I'm going to be doing a Jacob's sheep. So Jacob's is a breed of sheep and they have these sort of crazy wacky horns. So it's going to be a bit more of an interesting animal head to make, and then same again, 4 legs and a tail, and we're going to put it in a rock, similar to the octopus. So the Jacob's, as I said, has these wacky horns, and they're obviously a breed of sheep. The Swaledale is what I tend to base the normal ram's head off, so sort of my standard ram's head where the horns come out and then spiral round sort of down by the cheeks. That's based off of a Swaledale, whereas today we're going to be trying to alter this face so that it looks like a Jacob's. As with the ram that I usually make, I'm going to start off by forging out the horns first. So to do this, I come on the near edge of the anvil and just create a little set down to section off some material for the horns, which we then come back and split with an angle grinder. I split it with an angle grinder because it's nice and clean and we don't get any nasty rags, which we might get if we cut it with a hot chisel. So a Jacob's actually has 4 horns. It has 2 at the top and then 2 lower down, which generally tend to come towards the front. So the ones that we're going to do first are the ones at the top, and then after we've actually punched in all of the face and done all of the features, I'll then come back and weld on 2 more pieces slightly lower down and then bend those to shape. I think that's going to be the easiest way to do this, rather than trying to upset the material so we have enough material there for 4 horns and forge it out one piece. I think that's going to be too complicated, so I'm going to be forging it out of several pieces and just weld those 2 extra horns on. So I'll now split the horns and then draw out a little bit of a taper and just point it off, and then we can twist them to give them a bit more sort of 3D texture. Now we can put the first bend in. Now we can close this up and then taper out the face. I managed very skillfully to do this heat without turning the camera on, but all that I did was close up that bend and then knock it back so we have this sort of swan neck in the face. We can now begin to punch all of the features onto the head. So I'll start with the nostrils, then I can get the mouth in, and then punch in the eyes. I like just to put those notches in at the side of the face, because otherwise you sort of have a flat spot, so it gives it a bit more sort of texture and 3D-ness to the face rather than it just being flat without any features. I'll heat it up again. We can bend the horns out the way, come in the top with a chisel, and then cut in the eyebrows either side. Actually, I'm going to leave the eyebrows off for now, as we're going to be welding on the horns there at the side, the new horns. So I think if I were to cut the eyebrows in and then try weld those on, it would upset the sort of flow of the eyebrows. So I'll bend the horns at the top, still come in with the chisel to split that running down the face, but then weld the 2 new horns on, which I need to make, and then after that we can come back to the face, and if it needs it, I can cut those eyebrows on. So I've got a 6mm bar. I'm just going to draw down a short taper on the end, and then we can twist it again like the other horns. I've got my 2 little horns cut off of that handlebar length. We can now weld them on to the head, but I'm going to do it off camera, as you can never really see anything when I weld. So I'll weld them on, grind them up, and then I'll get back to filming when I bend these to shape. Now we can just dot the pupils, and then that's the face done. I think I'm going to leave the eyebrows off. I think it would spoil the sort of design, so I'll leave those off. We just need to dot the pupils, and then that's it. There's our finished head for now, and I did just want to show you a picture of a Jacob sheep, so you can see that they really are that wacky. It looks sort of almost alien-like at the moment. The horns are just sort of, they're crazy, you know. They're not really like any other animal, to be honest, or at least not that I know. Maybe you know something that looks similar to that, but yeah, I thought that it would be an interesting thing to make, so I've had a go at making one, and I think it's gone all right. I mean, it's definitely different to other animal heads that I've made before, but anyway, I'll put this to one side, and now we can work on the feet, and then of course the tail. I'll just flatten the end of this 6mm bar, and then scroll the end up. I've got my forelegs made up and cut to length. It's now time for the tail. I'm going to make the tail out of 16mm round bar. It's just going to be sort of like a round ball, but obviously it needs a bit of a shank, which we then resin into the stone. So I'm going to come over the far edge, isolate off a mass for the ball, and then create a stem behind it. I just need to change the angle at which the head is coming off of this bar so that it looks right as it's coming out of the stone. I'm using a rawhide hammer so I don't mess up the facial features. I have all of the pieces cut to length, and I've just gone over them with a wire wheel to polish them a bit. So now I've got my rock, and I can just simply drill my hole, so 4 for the feet, 1 for the tail, and then 1 for the head, and then we can epoxy resin it all together. So I rather destroyed that rock just then by drilling that hole. It's the problem with sandstone, it's very soft. So I'm going to have to start again on a new rock. I'll do the legs first, as they obviously need to set, and then once the epoxy resin's gone off, we can flip it over and resin the head and tail in. I've put this bottle there just to bring that leg forward so they're all in line a little bit better. I've had some fun making this Jacob's sheep. It's a very different head to anything that I've done before, and as I said before, they are these crazy sort of horns on this sheep, so it does sort of look a bit alien-like, but this is, as I showed you that picture, this is genuinely what they look like. They are just these wacky horned sheep. I've mentioned before in the octopus video that I'm doing this exhibition down in Lincoln, so this is another piece which is going to be for that. I've got, again, some more ideas, a couple of other things that I'm going to do some videos on at some point, making more sculptures like this with steel and rock, steel and stone sculptures of animals. So there's going to be a couple more videos coming out, hopefully pretty soon, as the exhibition is in about a month. So I haven't got ages to get these things done. So hopefully there will be some more videos coming out very soon.